I want you to notice the shift, right? There's been a big shift in men suddenly valuing marriage. Remember, men used to see marriage as a ball and chain. Marriage to them used to be a trap set by women. And now they ridicule women for being unmarried. Now all of a sudden, marriage is not the ball and chain. It's something to be valued. It's something that women should value. And you know why? If women are happy about it, they don't want you to have it. Women are happily getting divorced and leveling up, and they hate to see it. So now, naturally, they want to discourage women from wanting to get divorces because it means that our values are shifting. And once our values start to shift, they can no longer take advantage. Men are starting to realize that marriage benefits them. There's studies. There's plenty of studies. There's plenty of studies saying that childless single women are the happiest demographic of women. And men being married increases their lifespan. Mind you, men don't actually value marriage. No, they value the labor that they benefit from in a marriage. Be very careful with letting men control the narrative about marriage because they are simply leading you astray. They want to make you feel bad about being single because you being single is not beneficial to the system of patriarchy, a system that values domestic labor.
So 80 to 90% of all divorces are women leaving men. Unpack that for us. I looked up the research and it's 70% of women that are initiating divorce. Would you work at a company that only had a 30% retention rate for their employees? 70% of the employees are leaving the company? Would you think, oh man, these employees suck? Or would you think, what the hell's wrong with that employer that they can't keep any employees? So then I put my researcher cap on and I read a lot of articles from psychologists who are doing all this marriage counseling to see what's really going on. And hands down, the women are mad. They feel tricked. They get into this marriage thinking that they're going to have a partner and they're going to have support. And the three biggest reasons that women are walking away from marriage is number one, their partner isn't emotionally intelligent and doesn't know how to emotionally connect. So there's no actual friendship between the husband and the wife. Number two, the women are carrying all of the mental load and emotional labor for the entire family, and it's exhausting. And number three, they're just not accepting abuse anymore. And abuse is defined as someone who tries to control you, manipulate you, or neglect you. And the statistics show that 50% of women, once they get divorced, don't remarry. They're done. But 70% of men will remarry. Because studies also show that marriage is much more beneficial for men. They live longer and they're able to make more money in their jobs because someone's holding things down at the home fort. And marriage is not beneficial for women and tend to rely on women to do all of the household labor, to do all of the mental load of making doctor's appointments, purchasing the things for the house, doing the cooking, the cleaning, and that the women are carrying the emotional labor as well, meaning they're always trying to initiate connection and help regulate everybody's emotions better. I'll also add that only 27% of women say that they regret getting a divorce, whereas 39% of men say they regret getting a divorce. So the institution just isn't working for women much anymore. And so much of that has to do with the fact that men are struggling to regulate their emotions, to be emotionally intelligent, and to know how to emotionally connect with a woman, especially around the area of having empathy. So that's my interpretation of the statistics. What's yours?
If a woman tells me she's getting a divorce, I'm going to say congratulations. And here's why. Because I know that this decision was not made in haste, that she has tried everything to make it work. Over the last couple days, I've talked to hundreds of thousands of women, and I've asked them, how long was it between when you emotionally checked out of your marriage to when you filed for divorce? And what was happening in between that time? And the average was 3 to 5 years of emotionally checking out before actually filing for divorce. So women don't just wake up on a random Wednesday morning and decide, you know what, I'm going to divorce my husband today. Because happy women don't leave good marriages. Happy women don't leave good husbands. Women that feel supported, women that feel safe, women that feel acknowledged, women that feel happy and loved and validated, those women aren't leaving good marriages and good husbands. The women I've talked to said that they tried and tried and tried. A lot of them said that if they thought they just worked on themselves a little bit more, they made themselves more available, they did more therapy, they tried being, more available. They tried and tried and tried to work on themselves in hopes that it would make things better in their marriage, but it didn't. It wasn't like they weren't putting forth the effort. In a 3 to 5 year amount of time, they were trying everything under the sun. They were doing individual therapy. They were trying to get their husbands in couples therapy. They talked to them. They communicated this way, that way, and the other, and they still went unheard. I think, and this is my personal opinion, I think that men know their wives are unhappy because they've been communicated to, they've been talked to. The women have tried explaining to them how they're feeling, what they need from their partner. And I think the men simply don't care because I don't think that they ever believe that their wife will leave them. Because a lot of them are stay-at-home moms. A lot of them have no financial means to actually leave. And therefore men just assume that they're going to be comfortable and complicit, and that women actually won't do it. And that's why we hear so many stories of men being blindsided when their wives ask for a divorce. It's not that they didn't know their wives weren't happy. They knew. They just didn't actually ever think that she would pull the trigger and leave. This is also why so many more women are filing for divorce than men. Because men can stay. Men can stay because they're still benefiting. Because especially if they have kids, the wife is still stepping up and caring for the house. She's caring for the kids. So why would a man want to leave? Why would a man want to go and get a divorce when he can just say, yeah, you might be unhappy, but I'm still benefiting from everything? And then they weaponize their support because they know that they can. So the next time a man says to you that women are tearing their families apart because they randomly woke up and decided that they wanted a divorce, send them this video.
To younger women who are making decisions about their future, and maybe you want to get married and have kids, maybe you definitely want to get married and have kids, this message is for you. Marriage, if that's what you want, and I know people are going to joke and say, never get married, ha ha ha, okay, that's very invalidating to the wants of other people. So if marriage is what you want, what I will say is it's okay if you want that. It's okay if you want marriage and kids. But what I will say is it should be a part of your journey, not what the whole journey is about and the final destination, the pinnacle of the mountain, the end all be all. Yes, there are women who are 100% happy being a wife and a mom, and I am happy for them. But unfortunately, what we've seen in statistics and what we've seen in life is that a lot of women are not satisfied with that. So what I will tell you is live your life, live these young years, live your life, period, for you and what you want. Go to the college you want, take the job that you want to take the promotion that you want to take, buy the house that you want to buy, move to the city, state, or country that you want to move to. Live your life as if marriage is never going to happen. Do not make decisions based on either a man you have met that's in your life or an imaginary man that you're planning on meeting in the future. I spent 5 years of my life in a marriage trying to convince myself that this is enough for me. And don't get me wrong, you have to offer the disclaimer, I love my kids are not the issue. They're not. Or people will think you're a horrible mom who doesn't like their kids. That's not the case. But I spent 5 years trying to convince myself that I was happy with just this, and I would always pour water on the spark, and I let people convince me that wanting anything outside of wife and mom was selfish and being ambitious was a bad thing and you're trying too hard, and it's okay to not want those things, and it's okay to not want those things, but that wasn't my path. And real talk, yes, you can go back to school and study hard and chase the dreams that you abandoned when you were younger. But unfortunately, this is real talk. There's some shit that once you let it pass you by, that opportunity is never going to come. And you will regret that. And then there's some stuff where, yeah, you can get back on the saddle and try for it again, but it's going to be really hard because you're going to have a lot more responsibility this time. So you are the center of your universe. It's all about what you want. Don't worry about breaking up because you want to move, and live your life for you.
I got divorced at 53 years old after an 18-year marriage. And there have been plenty of times post-divorce where I've kind of lamented the fact that I spent so many years in a bad marriage. Why didn't I get a divorce sooner? I wish I was younger when I got the divorce. Now I'm realizing that at 53 years old, this was the perfect time for me to have gotten a divorce. Because at 53, I am no longer the focus of male attention. And because I'm no longer the focus of male attention, I'm no longer seeking male validation. When I was a teenage girl and I started getting attention from boys and men, I kind of found myself on this hamster wheel of wanting attention because the attention made me feel good. It made me feel pretty. It made me feel smart. It made me feel confident in myself. It was just a very slippery slope from receiving attention to actively seeking male validation. What a man thought about me mattered, because eventually it was going to lead to a man choosing me to be his wife. And once I was chosen as a wife, I could relax. I could just finally be myself because I was going to have this man who loved me and accepted me for who I truly was. But once I got into an actual marriage, I found out I was still on that hamster wheel. I was still seeking attention from my husband, seeking his validation, seeking his time. It just never ended. Now that I'm divorced and I'm 53 years old and I'm no longer receiving the attention from men that I used to get, I feel like the world looks different. I feel like I can make decisions with a clear mind because the only person that I'm thinking about is myself. I'm not thinking about what a man wants from me, what a man needs from me. And that goes for like big decisions to like even small decisions about like what I wear or how I do my hair. I'm just doing everything for myself. And there's just a freedom in that. If I had gotten divorced earlier, even when I was like in my early 40s, I don't know if I would have been able to be in this space right now. I think I still might have been in the place of seeking male attention and male validation. I would have gotten myself into the same trap. So yeah, I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because it happened at the time that was perfect for me. And now I get to live a life for me.